back to Faceting 150 Gem Materials for Beginners. Today we're going to take a look at Iolite, which also goes by the names Cordiorite and Water Sapphire. Iolite specifically refers to the bluish variety. So this is a very interesting material. It's got a Mohs hardness of about 7.5, so it's a little bit harder than quartz, but it has distinct cleavage in one direction. So that means if you pop it in a certain direction, you might cut it all the way through just with a tap. Now, just a quick aside, this stuff cuts like butter, and I've never had any cleavage problems. Supposedly it has a reputation as a chippy, brittle material. I've never had any problems with that either. Alright, so if we take a look at it, it's got a refractive index of 1.54, so exactly the same as quartz. So you can use any design that you would use for quartz. Some of them that should work for the barrels should also work. It's got minimal dispersion, about 0.017, so the same as quartz. Not really anything appreciable. It's got minimal birefringence, 0.008 to 0.012, again, fairly minimal. So for what that actually means, dispersion we think of as how much fire you can get out of the stone, and birefringence we think how fuzzy will the stone look. Will the facets look doubled if we look through the stone? And neither of these values are particularly high. Now, the interesting thing about it is that this stuff is profoundly trichroic. That means that if you look at it from three different directions, it will have three totally different colors. The best color that you can see on it is like a rich blue-violet color, way better than the best tanzanites or the best sapphires. It's by far the best blue color that you can, like bluish-purple color you can get out of any material. The other things that you see in it are a pale blue, like nearly clear color, and a grody, brownish yellow, very pale color, like a sickly off-white. But usually the blue-violet is so strong that it just knocks the rest of those out. You don't even notice them anywhere. Now, the problem with this material is that orientation for color is a big problem. Let's look at these two pieces. On the left, we've got a piece of iolite from India. If we look at it, this is probably the best direction for yield. Kind of looking at it straight down this way, but we got kind of this pale, maybe a little bit of blue color. My phone camera kind of sucks, but if you look at this in daylight, you can see, depending on which way you look at it, some of the yellow and some of the pale blue. The color for best, or the orientation for best color, is going to be this way. Again, my phone camera sucks, so it looks black. But really, in real life, this is like a rich bluish violet color. Now, if we were to cut it with this as the table, we'd get really, really poor yield. If we were to cut it with this as the table, we'd get excellent yield, but very, very poor color. Now, if we take a look at this material, this is a piece of Tanzanian iolite. This direction is not only the best direction for yield, so if we look at it from all directions, you can kind of see that using this as the table would give us the best yield, and it's the direction of best color. It's got this nice bluish violet color, maybe a little bit dark, but after I'm done trimming it up and cutting it, it's going to end up a little bit smaller, and it should end up as a very nice blue-violet color. If we want to take a look at the pleochroism that we see, so the profound trichroism, where we see the three different colors, let's take a polarized filter. So I just popped this out of a 3D glasses from a theater. So here's that filter. We can see it's very clear. Rotate the stone, and you see, oh my god, it's turned completely blue-violet. So that's just the different directions of looking at it. If we look at it this way, and we do similar types of rotation, it goes from clear to blue. Oops. Dropping it's probably not the best idea. You don't want to trigger any cleavage, although realistically it shouldn't really do anything. And then just some last tips for cutting. This stuff cuts way easier than you would expect with a Mohs hardness of 7.5. Cut it on a freshly charged 600 grit bat. That's what I normally do. It will cut extremely quickly, so be very careful not to overcut. In all honesty, I actually do a lot of the cutting at the pre-polish stage using a 3K, again, on a bat lap. And that will cut pre-polish so fast that it'll be functionally like you're cutting, but you'll end up with a pre-polished finish. And the best thing about this is that this stuff will polish if you so much as look at it with cerium oxide. So I don't even use diamond on this. I use cerium oxide on a dark side lap. And I've heard of people getting extremely fast results with the ultra laps, those cheap Mylar cerium oxide impregnated films. There's a bunch of different ways you can polish this, but they're all very, very easy. So again, this was Faceting 150 Gem Materials for Beginners, and this material that we just talked about is Iolite. It's cheap, got a great blue color, cuts very easily, and looks pretty decent. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at faceting101@gmail.com.